Come
Well,
on, see if I'm actually working this week, because last week it did not go through. All right, cool. It's actually going through on Rumble this week. Yes,
Awesome.
this is awesome. All right, cool. All right,
Yay.
let's
I
get
know
ready
for a
to.
fact it's going on Rumble because I just got the notification.
Sweet. All right,
Well, I'm
tonight.
gonna. Can I make a simple request?
Sure.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. And this request just goes out to the family of this young man. I know we haven't jumped into it, but to the family of this young man in Kentucky, which we're going to talk about in a minute. I'd like us to take a moment of silence for this. There's no words,
Yep.
and I want
That's
to
why
speak to yeah.
I
And
broke
before
out
we
the
get
whiskey for tonight.
into talking about it, I just want to take a moment of silence and send a message to the mother and the father and say, you are not alone. You are not alone.
Yeah. It's this is a story that's going to be pretty harsh. The little boy's name was Logan, and as you guys know, that's also my nephew's name. Uh, this is a story coming out of Kentucky that about the Tipton families. The killer getting released from prison early for quote unquote good behavior, and then they rearrested him shortly thereafter. This story will be a little into the tonight's show. The biggest reason why we're talking about this, letting you know, is if you need it, go grab your hardest alcohol that you can use to try to calm down. As I showed our esteemed panel, my shot glass of Jameson whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, because if they've seen it, might as well show you my shot glass of whiskey. And yeah, I topped it up a little bit since I've been sipping on it already.
Oh man, I don't even
And
drink, and I think by the time this is over, I may need one, or I may need to, or I may need to shove myself back in the ground and say, "The heck with it."
Yeah, this story that Wave Rose sent me is one of the news stories. He said, "We're having a nice rant tonight." But first off,
let's start
into
with
the show.
something.
Not sorry. Let's go with the Edmund Fitzgerald story that you brought to the table tonight.
Yeah.
But you can,
Is it my signal or is Richard breaking up?
I think he's breaking up
it might
because
be
I
me.
can.
Yeah, I was thinking it was me, but now that you say it, I think it must be Richard a little bit.
Okay. But yeah,
Yeah, I might be
but
breaking
I wanted
up. I'm gonna go ahead and do the Edmund Fitzgerald and get the panel to talk about it while I try to figure out what's causing it to break up.
all right. So
I'm gonna go ahead and mute
I
myself up.
initially wanted to do this back on November 10th, since it was the 50th anniversary of the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. But I didn't think about it until after that date had already passed. This being December 10th, I figure 1 month late, better late than never. And I'll be damned if I'm going to wait another year to talk about it just to forget again until a couple days after. So, the Edmund Fitzgerald, one of if not the most legendary ship to ever sail the Great Lakes. one of the biggest iron hauling freighters on the Great Lakes at nearly 300 feet in length, broke several records while sailing the Great Lakes, while also blasting music to keep the folks in the various locks and channels entertained. The Edmund Fitzgerald, or Big Fitz as it is often called, became a legend, being known for among many other things. Well, I've already mentioned a lot of the stuff it's famous for. But as is the nature of things, despite how professional and well seasoned your crew is, as most of the people who were on the Edmund Fitzgerald had been with the ship for quite some time and knew the ship like the back of their hand, some people know the legends of Lake Superior, or as the local native tribes called it even way back in the 1800s, Lake Gitchigumi, which is known as a violent lake that is not very friendly toward ships. And on November 10th, 1975, the Edmund Fitzgerald made its last voyage. Where 2 years later, the wreck itself and the tragedy encompassed therein was immortalized by a young man by the name of Gordon Lightfoot. Every year since then, the bells of the Maritime Sailors Cathedral has rung 29 times, once for each man that died on the Edmund Fitzgerald. And as of last year, last year and this year, with the passing of Gordon Lightfoot, it now chimes 30 times.
Oh.
Because without Gordon Lightfoot and his song, The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald, this story more than likely would have just faded into obscure history.
Yeah. That's about right. Because most people, if it wasn't for the song, they wouldn't know about it because it didn't affect their lives.
True.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And I found out within the last month that a cappella group called Home Free did a very haunting cover of it. I'm gonna dig up a link to it, and I'll post a link to it in the chat, so you guys watching this on the stream can look it up and watch it in your own time. I highly recommend it.
Yep, it's out there. It's over 6 minutes long. And I'll share it for anybody who wants to watch it later. I'll hit you up with the link. It's now in the chat. Go back and later and give it a listen. I remember when I was a kid hearing this song, and growing up, I met folks from Minnesota and Wisconsin, and this was spoken about as profoundly as we in Florida talk about different Spanish wrecks. Part of our history. Yeah, they speak about it as though it's part of their history, it's part of their culture. Recognizing and respecting the big water. Okay, which is at least how I learned what it means in I don't know what the name of the native language is there, Wavo. But basically it means big water or something like that. Okay?
Yep, Gitchigumi.
Yeah, yeah, they knew not to go out on that lake.
Yep.
To say it that way. Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
One of the opening lines of the song, "The lake, it is said, never gives up her dead," a reference to the fact that bodies in Lake Superior do not decompose.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And also, the wreckage of the Edmund Fitzgerald is still at the bottom of Lake Superior. It will not be brought out because it's against Canadian law, because it is a gravesite.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But in
Yeah,
recent
there's,
months,
there is also I know, I can't remember if it's on the Canadian side or if it's on our side. There is a flooded mine. I can't remember if it was a silver mine or a gold mine that ended up flooding because the pumps broke. And it's now the opening of the mine is now under like 10 to 15, 20 feet of water or something like that.
Well,
The story is pretty wild.
didn't recently they sent drones into the Edmund Fitzgerald, the underwater drone?
I have heard of that. Yes, and
I haven't seen the documentary on it yet, but I thought it was
Yeah.
out.
yeah,
I have. It's. I'm going to be sending Wavo to it tonight because I've watched it twice. Because they were trying to figure out what caused the sinking, because the last message they got from the captain was that they were cruising full speed ahead, everything was going good, even though the weather was really harsh. And the main reason
if you
why
call
they
if you want to call
they
100-mile-an-hour winds rough,
they did not realize that they were taking on water because one of the hatches blew off. That was dumping water directly into the hole.
Right.
So they were basically going full steam ahead, and as they were sinking, they just kept pushing in and in and in and getting more and more water in.
Mm-hmm.
And it just took them straight to the bottom. And they literally, because the drones that went down there found that everything was just the way it was, where they were going full steam ahead. Everything was still locked in position and everything. And they were trying to figure out what caused it to go down, because the crew of the Edmund Fitzgerald were all professionals.
Yeah.
And it was a tragedy because it didn't have to happen.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because they did say that they felt that what caused it was maintenance had lacked off on a couple of sections, and the wind being so hard caused the straps that held everything down caused one of them to pop off, and thus the water went straight down into the hole as they were cruising forward. And the further that, just like what happened with the Titanic, where if the Titanic would have stopped, they would have had a lot longer time before the water would have flooded them. And they might have been able to have done damage control to fix that little hole. But by going, by what they did, it just let the water just flood right in.
Yep. The story of the Edmund Fitzgerald has become one of my absolute favorites.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Tony, it's good to see you. But yeah, the Edmund Fitzgerald story is one of those stories that has hit folk legend in the Great Lakes region. So yeah, it's really interesting. It's the whole story is, it's sadly a true story that ended with pain and suffering.
Yep.
I want one.
I'm going to be doing a lot more research of my own into the story of the Edmund Fitzgerald, because I want to know the story. Like, I want to know the stories of the ship from before it sunk.
Yeah.
I want to look into what made the ship so legendary. That way, I'll be able to understand more fully exactly what makes this story so incredibly tragic, outside of it's a famous ship that was sunk.
I think the biggest reason why was the last message that they got from them, that everything was going good, nothing's wrong, and then they just disappeared.
Yeah, I think the captain's last words were, "We're holding our own."
Yes.
And then the ship vanished.
And thus it ended up going, that's what caused it to go into legend. Because, like I said, the crew was a professional crew. They knew what they were doing. And they just disappeared. And nobody knows. And that's what created the legend, kind of like what happened with Mary Celeste. How the crew just disappeared and nobody knows what happened to it. Happened to them. Even though the Mary Celeste also had the captain's family was on board the ship with him when they all just disappeared. Nobody knows what happened to them. And that's how the Mary Celeste entered into the legends. When people just disappear, that's how it happens. It's like the story that inspired Melville's Moby Dick. That story, if you ever get a chance to watch that documentary, it's pretty wild. The story that inspired Herman Melville to write the novel Moby Dick. I recommend it. That you can actually find these documentaries on YouTube, because I've watched them several times. But like I've said before, I love watching documentaries. I just, it's information that I just absorb. But yeah, let's see. What's our next story for tonight after we did this one?
Let's see.
Because my sister's not here yet with her veterinary knowledge.
We had the trash panda. We had the big story that you want to talk about. Then we had the Pokemon thing.
Yeah, let's do Pokemon now.
Yeah, this is one that I'm gonna be pulling a Richard on this one, and I am going to be ranting to high heaven on this one.
Yes,
because having played in 2 different trading card games, I can fully understand the frustration of some of the customers and the retailers. So this is a story that I just learned about not 10 minutes before stream started. And I haven't had time to do in-depth digging into it. But apparently Pokemon cards are being pulled off shelves in some retail stores because, thanks to incredibly egregious scalpers, the scalpers are buying up all their product in bulk, leaving nothing for anyone else, and the customers are getting incredibly violent. With one headline saying, quote, my staff have had customers threatening to rip their heads off, end quote. Yeah.
Think about it. This is Christmas time. A lot of
When
kids
you get
asking their parents and grandparents for Pokemon cards.
Well,
I remember this stuff happening with
I remember.
money, the addiction back in the day.
You gotta get them all.
I remember a thing. Some of y'all might remember this. Some of you might not. Thing called Cabbage Patch Kids.
Oh God,
oh
yes.
yeah,
I'm gonna leave that right there. I
Yep.
you know, I don't have a daughter, so this doesn't apply to me. But I remember two couples, mother and father, going at mother and father over a Cabbage Patch doll.
Yeah.
And that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah.
And you know what the really odd thing about it was? There were people that actually got rich because of that.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just like what happened with what was those little stuffed little plushy things that
Beanie
Beanie
Babies.
Babies.
Beanie Babies. Yeah.
Beanie Babies. Okay.
And
I'm
now
gonna
it
fast
turns
forward.
out, and now it turns out that after all these years, Beanie Babies aren't worth crap.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Well,
And
you know,
go ahead, Casey.
I was going to say it's like the tulip bulb thing in Holland. I mean, you know, back then, tulip bulbs were so prized that you could actually buy a house
Mhm.
if you had a tulip bulb.
Tulipo mania.
But by that, but all of a sudden the bubble just burst. I mean, I can tell you, I have seen people do so many weird things for like Pokemon and Beanie Babies. Okay, I live in a college town, and I can still remember back in the '90s that there was a convenience store in town that literally they had every Beanie Baby ever made, and they sold them to college kids. College kids who have no money, supposedly eating ramen every night. They would come in and they would buy the crap out of Beanie Babies.
Wow.
Hey, do you remember the '90s and the comic book bubble?
Yeah,
Okay, for those of you not old enough to remember this, we had something called the comic book bubble because of the speculators at the time. 2020 and 60 Minutes, both in the it was like a week or 2 weeks apart from each other. Both did news articles and exposés about comic books and how much they were worth. And they were talking about the first appearance of Superman, the first appearance of Iron Man, Captain America, and the Hulk and Spider-Man, showing just how much these comic books, especially from the Golden Age, that had survived to modern times, how expensive they were on the collectible market. I still remember this because my dad came to my room, knocked on the door, stuck his head in, and woke my ass up and said, Alvin, I need to talk to you for a minute. I'm like, uh-oh, this ain't good. Yeah, Dad? And he goes, can you come in here for a minute and watch this with me? And I'm like, okay. And go in and watching the 2020 where they're talking about it. And I'm like, I had that comic book, I had that comic book, and I had that comic book. And it had the prices underneath them. You did? Yep. And Mom threw them all away when I went into the Navy. That's because you didn't put them away. No, I locked them up.
Hey, well, at least a human had a hand in that. At least a hurricane didn't do your stuff in.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, Dad, after that, was like, oh my God, they're worth money. And he looks at my mom, says, you don't throw them away no more. But that's how we got foil cover comic books. We had, they started bagging collectible comic books that as long as you left it in the bag, it was worth money, or supposedly it was going to be worth money, because when they did the whole death of Superman, do you guys remember that whole bid?
Oh yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
I've still got a two bag copies of The Death of Superman. And when we were really needing money, when we were homeless, I was going to sell one of them to see if that would help us get off the street. Until I found out it's not as worth as much money as you think it is, man. Because after the bubble burst, man, they found out that there was so many of those comics that was mass produced, and people were buying them like in bulk and stocking them away. So yeah, something is, if it's a collectible, it's only a collectible if there is a limited number of them, and it's that whole supply and demand. As long as supply is low and demand is high, it's going to be worth a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Which falls into one of the reasons why healthcare is so expensive. There's not enough doctors and not enough nurses to fulfill the need. Thus, we have the prices. Yeah, very true. But the Pokemon card kit,
was that an alternative to the Sigvaldson spray bottle?
Yeah,
I call it the tangent bell.
Yes, it's used for everybody when they go off on tangents.
Yeah, because we do have to get back on track, and I do still have very powerful, very irate words to say about this.
Yes, go for it.
As I had mentioned before, you got to get the rant incoming banner.
Right, hold on. I'm also going to do this. Hold on.
Yeah.
There we go. And here it comes. Here it comes. Ready for it? Ready for it?
Yep, there it is.
Ooga, there it is. Go for it, Jeff.
All right. So, and Stark of Iron, if you're still watching, you can definitely relate to this. I played both Yu-Gi-Oh and Magic the Gathering. I've since had to give up both because of reasons, mainly my trying to run a YouTube channel and trying to balance my work schedule in real life. But when I was still playing Yu-Gi-Oh and Magic, the biggest problem that I would come across is scalpers buying up product in bulk. And I don't just mean buying up a bunch of it. There was one specific person at the shop I would go to who would buy up literally the store's entire stock of sets. And some of the sets were ones that I had saved up for months, knowing it was coming. I had saved up for months to be able to buy up a couple of boxes for myself to go in day of release and find out, hey, we're sold out. There is nothing more rage-inducing and heartbreaking than knowing that you saved up all that money for nothing. Especially when, for people like me, money is hard to come by.
Yeah.
What's
The
money?
biggest... Exactly.
Yeah, I've heard that's something that other people have.
What is this money you speak of, Rabo?
Yes, that's actually one of my catchphrases at work. Money? What is this fictional substance of which you speak? Is it edible?
Can you
But yeah. Can you feed it after midnight? But yeah. Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic, and from this article, it's apparently a whole lot worse in Pokemon.
Yeah.
What scalpers do, they will buy up things in bulk, en masse. They won't trade it to anybody. They will refuse to trade. They will open it up in front of everybody, and they will not trade any of it. They will take it to a flea market or a big convention, and they will sell every last bit of it to the highest bidder for top fucking dollar.
Yeah.
Yep.
Where those of us down here at rock bottom, that's why Yu-Gi-Oh hasn't been getting any new players, because all the higher tier meta hyper rich players are buying everything up and hogging it for their fucking selves.
Hmm.
And then Konami releases the lower grade collector sets specifically for those of us on the bottom tier. And then the people on the top tier start bitching that there's nothing good in it. Because it's all the stuff that is in those lower tier collector sets is stuff from previous sets that they had already bought in bulk and sold off because they had been hoarding it for themselves, and they don't want new players coming in.
Yep, that's the worst type of gatekeeping.
Yeah, and sadly, it's not exclusive to trading cards.
There's two types of gatekeeping. There's the good kind and the bad kind. The good kind basically limits the tourists that are coming in from trying to take it over. The bad kind is this, where you've got scalpers coming in and buying all this stuff up, blocking out people on the lower tiers that they can only afford buying these packs when they come out, hoping that they're going to get something good out of it. And yes, for me, this is a rant moment too, because gaming is for everybody. I hate the gatekeeping where people are not being allowed to get into and playing a game. The way I use gatekeeping is to make sure the activists ain't coming in and forcing other people out of the game because you're quote unquote toxic. All right. Everybody has a right to game, especially play a game at their own table with their own friends the way they want to play it. If they want to have, okay, this is going to be a little crude and socially unacceptable for some people. If you want a triple X rated tabletop role playing game experience and everybody at that table agrees to it, go for it. If you want a tabletop experience where everybody around the table agrees to it and it's going to be an LBGT wonderland and everybody agrees to it, go for it. But if there's somebody at that table that feels uncomfortable, they should not be forced to get up and leave just because they disagree with your politics. You shouldn't be forcing that stuff on anybody. You would get upset if you went to a table and you're an atheist and the table is 99% Christian and you feel like they're pushing their Christianity on you. You wouldn't like that, now would you? See,
exactly.
Respect is a two-way street. You have to respect
that kind of
them.
gatekeeping. That kind of gatekeeping is exactly 100% the reason I left Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah.
I stopped playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Because I couldn't take it anymore. That and my autism prevents me from being able to adjust to how fast the game's meta evolves. Because by the time I finally learn how to play in a given format, that format stopped being relevant 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm. That was the thing about Magic the Gathering that caused the one of the reasons why I refer to it as money the addiction. Now, Magic the Gathering, when it first came out, was extremely popular. So popular that they mass-produced a whole bunch of cards. Then they decided they were going to change the rule set and make a whole lot of these cards unusable in tournament play and things of this nature. But they had a whole bunch of it in the warehouses. So they pushed the cards, that all these stockpiles of cards that they had out to the mom and pop game stores and comic book stores and things of this nature. Back then, we had maybe 5 comic book and game stores here in Charlotte. And because Magic the Gathering, aka Money the Addiction, was so popular, people were going in there and dropping $50 to $100 every week on buying these cards so they could build their decks. So all these mom and pop stores were buying up as much back stock as they could so they could have it, so they could sell it. Well, once Wizards of the Coast had sold out all the back stock they had in their warehouses, they released that they were changing up the card rotation and what cards were going to be legal and what ones were going to be not, which left a whole lot of people holding product in their back stock they couldn't sell and make back the money that they had, top shelf money that they had spent buying these cards. They were basically worthless product that they could not sell. And they went out of business. Like I said, we had multiple comic book stores here in Charlotte. Charlotte was also the headquarters of Heroes Aren't Hard to Find, the oldest comic book store in the Carolinas. In fact, Heroes used to have 3 stores in both North. Yeah. And we lost all but 2 comic book stores here in Charlotte because of what happened with the Money the Addiction bubble exploding. And we lost game stores as well. We didn't have a game store here from 90 something to 2003, I think it was, when a new game store opened up. And I think, if I remember right, that was a Games Workshop game store that was at one of our malls. So, yeah. Can you tell I'm a little salty about that?
Yeah, just a little.
Bad bit.
Rightfully
Right.
so.
Mm-hmm. So, anybody else want to go on a rant so I can put you up on the up on the table?
No.
All I know is this. That's basically the reason that I don't game anymore. Because quite frankly, they pretty much jack up the price on everything. They can decide who gets to do what and with what. And you're sitting there with a bunch of stuff that you can't even find people to play anymore because they moved on to other stuff.
Yep. Well, what it upsets me is some of these game books that I'm looking at right now are gorgeous.
Mhm.
Beautiful, high quality books. And the prices for them are anywhere between $48 to $78 for a single book. I have to save up for one of those books whenever I buy one. And I've got almost everything that they put out for the Fallout role-playing game. Haven't been able to find anybody to play it. I've got almost everything they've put out for the Twilight 2000 4th edition role-playing game. Can't find anybody to play it. Got almost everything they put out for the Marvel Multiverse role-playing game, the new Marvel RPG. Can't find nobody to play it. Give me a moment. I'm going to have to hit mute so I can cry. All right, wait. Never mind. I'm just going to take a sip of whiskey.
Okay.
That works
Cheers.
better. All right. There's that. Let's hit our next rant-worthy storyline here. About Logan Tipton. And before we start, let us do our moment of silence for the Tipton family and beg God to give them the strength to get through this time, because losing a child is never easy. I've watched the news articles and reports about this family and how hard it was for the father to get through this the first time, and then to find out that the bastard that butchered his child was getting out early. The interview I watched on that was not good. So let us have our moment of silence. And if you don't believe in God and don't pray, just send good vibes and good thoughts to the Tipton family, because there have been multiple studies that have shown about the power of prayer and quote unquote good vibes and good feelings does have a healing effect on people, because they have done double and triple blind testing that has proven it. So please let us give the Tipton family a moment of silence and prayers and good thoughts and good, send them their love that they need at this moment. All right. Our hearts go out to the Tipton family. And one of the people that is following us just sent me a message on Discord through direct message. His statement was, "He who accepts me shall never die. My Father has prepared quarters for them all." And very true, my friend. Very, very true. This little guy, all the picture I've seen of this little dude was cute as a button. He reminds me of my kids, man. And this is tearing me up, because they let this guy get, but they released him for good behavior, and then they turned around and had to re-arrest his butt. And I am going to go ahead and see if I can share this up on the screen for everybody to see. This might take me a moment to pull it back up.
The more I think about it, the more I think about this whole thing, the angrier and more thoroughly enraged I become.
Guys, I'm going to ask a favor.
Yep.
I very rarely do this, but I want to rant.
All right. Give me a second. And
You are more than welcome to.
I will put you up.
And I will give a spoiler warning for myself as well. By the time we are done here tonight, you guys will probably have seen a side of me that no one on the planet except my own girlfriend has ever seen.
All right, here you go, Casey. We're putting you up in the center.
All right. I got to say something right now. All right. I believe in giving people second chances who have earned them. If you're somebody that's behind bars and you actually go out and try to make an effort to improve yourself and make up for the mistakes of your past, I'm all for you. But what I got to say is that if you are some kind of a scumbag piece of crap, and I didn't even use the word I wanted to use, who would go out, go to jail for something, get out, and then go back and have to go back to jail again, and in the meantime, murder a kid with a kitchen knife from your own family's, from their own family's house. How low can you get? Come on. There's got to be a point where you say, wait a second, why did we let this guy out? And should we maybe consider redefining the term good behavior? Because I see so many people get away with stuff who got out on good behavior. I've heard so many people try to rationalize explain this stuff from a psychological point of view. Just for those of you that don't know, I went to college specifically to become a psychologist. So I know all the rationale people use to justify this. But there's some point at which this shit has got to stop.
Yeah.
The,
Yes.
the challenge there, Casey, is it it has to stop with the lawyers. Now, here's the interesting thing. When you see these sorts of cases, why aren't you hearing from the American Civil Liberties Union? I'm just going to put that out there.
Can I answer that, Marcello? May
Yes,
I please? The reason you're not hearing from the American Civil Liberties Union, and I feel bad for saying this, because like I said, I used to be a dyed-in-the-wool liberal, but the reason you're not hearing from them is a lot of these people are the wrong color, they're the wrong race, they're the wrong gender. Those people in the Civil Liberties Union are basically looking to try to make a name for themselves by showing how much they stand up for the oppressed people in this world, notwithstanding the fact that in this world, everybody is oppressed at one time or another in their life.
Yep.
See, I won't argue with that either. I won't argue with that either.
Okay, this story also hit something close to home. I can't say her name. Ilana's law that got passed here in North Carolina after the girl was murdered on the train.
Yep. And yet,
this
what
kid
happened a couple weeks
just
ago.
turned 18. They had already caught and arrested him 3 times already for really violent felonies. Hi there, Fox. And they kept letting him out. But because of Ilana's law, they finally was able to hold him on $5.3 million of bond.
Well, you see, here's the thing. Why do we have to have these sorts of laws push things to a particular point? And the way I look at them, Richard, is what they're really indicative of is what 30, 40, 50 years ago would have been considered common sense. All these laws that you're seeing here are about bringing back the idea that, there's this thing called common sense, and it should be common, and it should make sense, and we really shouldn't have to be doing this, but because you who are in a position of adjudication do not apply sensical, logical decision making commonly in your orders, then we have to impress upon you that your behavior behind the bench is behind what is causing this to continue to foment in our society. In other words, you judges are not doing your bloody job. You're not doing your job. You're using toxic empathy to rule over your common sense and looking. I'm just going to go on the record. You are looking from behind the bench to find reasons to feel better about yourselves and permit people who shouldn't be permitted to come back out into regular society.
Yep.
Okay? This is what we see every single day. Every single day. Okay? I'm not saying this as a rant, Richard. I'm asking anybody who's looking, and there's only a few of us here, but I want you to go and think about it and tell someone else. Is our judiciary actually applying a modicum of common sense to the law as it is written, or if they are actively looking for loopholes to not have to adhere to the law as it is written? You know, Richard, the other day I said, you know what? I hear that there is a group of students from a very, very well-off neighborhood in New Jersey that's looking to put together a socialist club.
Yep.
Great. Fantastic. Not a problem. Let's do it. Go for it.
Okay.
Here's
Hang
on. Hold on to your cool your jets. What everyone should do, okay? What everyone should do is put together something called a constitutionalist club.
Yep.
You remember? Did any of you have to take civics?
Yeah.
Where you had to study the Constitution? Oh, I don't know. The first, the first amendments into the Constitution, where you had to learn what the Federalist Papers were, where you had to learn the rationales behind the thinking of both more liberal and more conservative minding founding fathers and what their thinking was, and the
Yep.
rationale, imperfect as it might have been.
And it was
why
a
did they?
freshman class too. It was a freshman
Why did they
class.
write? Why did they write the things that they wrote the way that they wrote it? Specifically because, for whatever reason, they were endowed with the knowledge that humans can do some crazy ass shit. They were
PK's in the audience.
they were watching the French, who had helped them gain their own independence, implode. And they're like, hey, we're not going to let that shit happen here. Nope, not happening here. Not going to happen.
Wasn't it to Coralville?
Yeah, Tocqueville. Yeah.
Who came to the United States after what happened with the French Revolution, trying to figure out why the French Revolution turned into a bloodbath, while the American Revolution created a very stable representative republic.
Yep.
And was trying to figure that out.
Well, it was very simple.
And it basically boiled down to him saying, the American government is good because the American people are good. Because the
Try saying that on any college campus today.
Yeah,
Go for it.
Get attacked. You get attacked.
Go for it. No way that you don't get spat upon.
Can I
No
tell
way.
you something?
No way.
It all boils down to one thing. One of the greatest failings of America today is that basically we have grown up with so many generations now that have had all the benefits that this country can offer, and yet have had to put out little, if anything, in the way of suffering or, to achieve any of the goodness that this country provides. That's one of the things that made our founding fathers so great, is that for all their knowledge, it was hard-won knowledge. Everybody, whether you like it or not, whether how they felt about slavery or whatnot, when they put their names on that document, it was because they had a hard enough won knowledge that they knew what had to happen if a country was supposed to survive. These people today have no knowledge of this whatsoever, because 99% of them don't have to do what people like Richard have done. There's so many people in this world who've done so much to safeguard the lives of others and give them the freedom that they take for granted. That's the problem. We have a bunch of people, and I don't care what life you're in. Even if you're a judge today, you got it so much better than anybody ever would have had it. And I'm sorry, I'm shutting up now.
Well, this is what gets me. Okay, it's like with women that keep going. I want equality. I want equality. But when you treat them equally, they get upset and say it's oppression. And it
They don't know what equality is, Richard. They have no idea because they didn't have to work for it.
Exactly. One of the reasons why.
Well, here's the thing.
Let me finish. One of the biggest reasons historically why women themselves were against women getting the right to vote was all of the stuff that went with voting. Because if you were a voter, you had the right to vote. You were required to own a firearm and be able to be deputized for a posse. You had to, whenever the fire alarm went off, you had to do the bucket brigade for the fire buckets. Let's see, what else was it? The draft was another one. There was a whole bunch of stuff that a lot of the women did not want to do to have the right to vote. And thus the laws got changed that so women would have the right to vote. They didn't have to do all the same things that men who had the right to vote had to do. Back in the day, the founding fathers had it set up to where if to vote, you had to own property. Mm-hmm. That was the main requirements was are you a citizen and do you own property? Because if you own property, that means you have skin in the game. You're actually the thought process was you would keep track of what the government is doing. And because you're paying in taxes, you should have a right to say how that tax money is getting.
Richard, it was very simple. If you have something that could be taken away from you, the founding fathers looked at it as you have the right to question whether government can take it away from you.
Exactly.
It's as simple as that. Simple as that. Okay.
Yep.
If the government can take it from you, you need to have a say in how government behaves.
Yep.
Period. End of question. End of question. Okay. We can go into all sorts of different directions for what that excluded, how it excluded, if people who did not own property yet invested their blood, sweat, and tears in the establishment.
That they believed in it so much that they were selling postage stamp size plots of land. It's easy for people to be able to vote.
Yeah.
But like I said, that was back then, how they did it.
Right.
I truly do believe that we need to have the ability to recall these judges.
At a federal level, it's like I was telling Fox Hills, Richard, it's virtually impossible. It's virtually it's virtually impossible when you get a federal appointment unless you are literally into some shady shit that the FBI is made aware of, and it is egregious enough. And it is egregious enough for the FBI to use their, and it's constrained resources to examine how egregious what you're doing is in comparison to other egregious breaches of federal law. Then the FBI might refer you to the United States attorney for disposition. And do we continue going or not? Do we continue investigating or not? And then the U.S. state's attorney decides how bad of a bad boy or girl you are, and then tells the FBI, go directly to go, do not collect $200. Or, hang on, let's let this run its course. And the fact is, there's so much corruption going on that there's no way the FBI can cover every base.
Yeah.
That's
And
the
that's
problem.
And the
Okay.
sad thing is, there's so many. I know people
And-
that are FBI agents that are really good at their job.
You know, the funny part is, Richard, not that they're listening, but folks, if you are listening, I know that you know that I know that you're listening. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Well, this whole
I'm gonna say, I'm gonna say this, and I'm going to try to say this. You know what? Screw it. I'm gonna let loose. I've got a lot of frustration, and the just thinking about this issue has absolutely thoroughly enraged me. I do not care who you are. I do not care where you come from. I do not care what your culture is, where you come from. You do not fuck with kids. Period.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
your culture says it's fine to fuck with kids, you do not belong in this goddamn country.
Yep.
Yeah. You know, it's funny you mentioned that, Waravo. There was a show that was in the top 10. Top 10. I don't know if it actually made it number 1 and or how long it stayed at top 10, but on Netflix there was a show that something about don't something with the kittens. Don't mess with kittens, or don't kill kittens, or don't something having to do with kittens. Okay? And it was basically on the premise of some internet sleuths who tracked down, made it their life's mission to figure out someone who had posted videos of doing some horrific things to small cats.
Yeah.
Cats. Okay? And yet people on the internet made this their life's mission to bring this person to justice. I have a simple question. Where is the drive to get behind what you just said? Where is the cultural zeitgeist that says once and for all, don't do this to children? We don't care who you are. We don't care where you came from. We don't care what mores you might have been permitted where you came from before, but you're here now. And in the boundaries of this country, you don't do that to kids and continue to think that you have the right. This might get me into trouble, Richard, so mute me if you want. You do not continue to think you have the right to have perpetual breath.
Yeah.
I thoroughly agree with that. The fact of the matter is, both the same thing applies to both children and animals. You do not act disrespectfully toward either one.
Let's stick to the case. But let's stick to the case, Waravo. This was a 6-year-old child.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is a parent's son. Parents who absolutely love this child. This child might have grown up.
But that's the thing. That's the thing. Where is and I'm gonna hold everybody accountable. Okay. Where is the outrage from everyone, left, right, and center? How come we are not seeing this on MS Now, CNN, Fox News, Patriot, Fireside, 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 Patriot, Fireside
You're seeing it on Fox News. You're just not seeing it.
But hey, this kind of thing, Richard, this kind of thing should have gone so stratospheric. This kind of thing should have gone so stratospheric because I remember when the stabbing on that train in Charlotte went national. Okay. It was national for several days. Okay. How come a child did not solicit the same level of indignation on the part of everyone? I would have expected Somalians in Minnesota to be up in arms about this. I would have expected Hispanics in Southern California. Yes, estoy hablando de ustedes, vatos. Hermanitos, estoy hablando de ustedes. ¿Qué es lo que les pasa a ustedes que no están disgustados de esta cosa?
Fox Hills says don't
thing.
see it on the news because they are bought and paid for.
That's the point I'm trying to get at.
That's part of it.
I'm trying to get at.
Another part of it is the fact it goes against the narrative that news platform is trying to push. Look at MS Now, what used to be MSNBC. Really rebranding your name is going to change the fact that y'all are so far to the left that you look at Stalin and think he's a right winger, and ditto with CNN, and it's ridiculous. Okay, I've been watching the news since I was a child.
Richard,
I've said this before. I have memories of watching the fall of the embassy in Saigon. I have memories of Nixon getting on Army One. I have memories of these things.
I'm going to give you a litmus test. Okay, everyone knows that Walter Cronkite was a dyed-in-the-wool, left-leaning Democrat. Unquestionable. Okay? Unquestionable. The litmus test is if Walter Cronkite were alive today and he had heard of this story, would he have reacted similar to how he reacted when John F. Kennedy was shot?
I don't know.
There's no, it's put it this way. President of the United States, 6-year-old child. How indignant do you feel?
Well,
okay. If a 6-year-old child does not solicit the same level of oh hell no as the president of the United States getting shot, there's something wrong with all of us.
I'll tell you something. And I used to watch Walter Cronkite religiously as a kid. All right.
So did I.
What I'm getting at then, you should understand. And that's what a lot of people don't realize, is there was a time in our country when being a Democrat meant you also had integrity too.
Yes.
And what I'm saying to you is, if a man like Cronkite were around today, he would be so pissed, especially because by that time it would have gone on far enough along that he would have pushed it to make sure it went along that far.
Exactly.
Because that was the kind of power he held.
Exactly.
More people watched Cronkite in his day than anybody else on television.
I remember being a kid, and even my parents, who were not very left-leaning at all, given where they came from, they would say, if Cronkite said it, must be true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. This is one of those things that I still remember reading about. LBJ made this when Cronkite turned against the Vietnam War. LBJ knew he was screwed because LBJ is the one who got us so deep into Vietnam. It was, and he's the one that got us so deep into that quagmire. It took Nixon a term and a half to get us out of there. And people like to keep saying that it was Nixon that caused us to lose Vietnam when we didn't lose Vietnam. The North Vietnamese said, okay, we stopped. We're not going to do it no more. Let's sign this peace treaty. We're done. And then after Nixon had left, what happened? The North Vietnamese said, screw this piece of paper. We're going to do it anyway.
Exactly.
And then the United States said, we're not getting involved, even though we had promised the South Vietnamese, if they relaunch the attack, we will come in and help you. Does that not remind you of something that we have said in the recent past? Like, I don't know, during Desert Storm, when we told the Iraqi people, if you stand up, we'll come in and liberate you. And then I had to stand there and watch as they got butchered.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, not sorry.
So don't apologize. Don't apologize.
Hold on.
Several of us lived through that.
We got to do this.
I'm telling you, this is the gift that keeps on giving, Richard. I'm so happy that I made this made that little video. It's the gift that keeps on giving.
Go for it.
I'm gonna say this only once. This is a rare moment, and I said this in the chat. This is a rare moment when we actually need Sigvalis in here to vie for the button being pushed.
Yep.
Because this is a moment where I do think we need a complete and total freaking reset. Yeah. It's moments like this that cause my dwindling faith in humanity meter to drop to freaking 0.
Okay, hold on a minute. I'm posting this on Tony's Discord. Sigvalison, where are you? We all just asked you to beg.
Yeah, I'm just going to throw something at Swollen while you're doing that. Dude, if you had actually been here, it would mean something to you. What you're missing is context behind that. And that's okay, because generations that came after Casey and I don't have that context.
Yep.
But if you did, I suspect that you would be as outraged as some of us are. Okay? That's not a dig. That's not an insult. It's a suggestion to think about. When stuff happens to you in your generation, you're going to turn around and say, oh shit, these guys told me this kind of crap might happen.
And they told it to me a long time ago.
Yep. I look at the world. I know I'm not of the world, though I do have to live in it. And the butchering of that little boy, the fact they let that man out of prison because, quote unquote, he had been exhibited good behavior while he was in jail. Then they turn around and arrested his butt for another violent crime shortly after they released him. And
yeah, I don't care how.
Let's just say that right now there are some very concerning and frustrating things during a time of the year where we should be thinking on more positive things appreciating the things that we have, the people that we have around us, and giving thanks. Okay. But unfortunately, there are folks who are not as they're not as well meaning as everyone else. For whatever reason, life has brought things in front of them that they have reacted to improperly. The problem here is that just because life gives you something harsher than lemons doesn't give you license to inflict the most final of things on someone else.
Yep.
Okay? I mean, with all due respect, no one's had a necessarily per se a perfect life, as much as social media might make you think they have. Okay? And even if you looked at it that way, the percentage of people who've had that perfect life is so minuscule that that should not guide your judgment. The problem here is that most people let themselves get guided by social media. That's our problem.
Yeah, social media is pretty bad. I know Australia passed, it went into effect. I wish Shrubby was here to talk about this. Next time he's here, we will talk about the fact that they passed a law. I think it's 16-year-olds and below can't have social media. And it's one of those things I'd like to have Shrubby on to talk about. But this is where we are right now on my whiskey shot glass. This story, that bad. And
I'll tell you, Richard, if I were a drinking man myself, I would be drinking straight out of the bottle. I wouldn't be using a glass. That is how angry I am right now. And
really
I am doing my absolute best to keep myself under control. I am doing my absolute best to keep myself under control. Because I know that if I cross that line, there will be no going back for me.
Yeah.
And that is a line that I promised myself. I have certain boundaries that I have set up for myself that I told myself I would never cross, and that is one of them. Because I know that once I do, it is downhill for me from there, and it's only going to get worse.
Yeah. See, I'm very. It takes a lot for me to get drunk. So I don't drink to get drunk because it's way too expensive for me. I drink for the taste and for the help in the stress release. The whiskey I just drank, because y'all saw at the beginning, my shot glass, that's what I budgeted myself out for today. I have done everything in my power not to use hard liquors to combat my pain, because I've known too many people that self-medicated with alcohol to combat pain. And I do not want to end up like that. It's not cool. Plus the fact I can't afford that. But I let you guys notice I finished off my whiskey for the night, and I'm not going anymore. We were supposed to slip into the Trashed Pandas news story, but my sister still hasn't gotten here yet. So, next up on the docket for our news story of the evening. Let's see, what was the one that we were going to do? Walter Cronkite would be. My intelligence asset just sent me a really cool one. a pick me up. He sent a meme of if he could see what's going on today, Walter Cronkite would be pissed, and it's got Walter Cronkite turned into the Incredible Hulk.
Dude,
Wow.
dude. If Walter Cronkite were alive today, watching some of this ridiculousness, I kid you not, the man probably would go Hulk. Okay.
Yep.
And we would be watching 24/7 Walter Cronkite turning this country on its ear. Okay?
Yep.
Okay. The man was a New Deal Democrat.
Yeah.
Okay? The man was a New Deal Democrat. But he wasn't stupid. Okay? He could at least, I would tend to believe, would have seen the inhumanity of inflicting a final judgment on a child of 6 years of age and then questioning whether this person should ever see the light of day among other humans. I'm not saying that this person should be, put to that same ultimate judgment, but there's no reason for this person to be back out on the streets. With all due respect, that person has given up that right.
And the worst part of it is he did that after they let him out the first time.
Yeah. Excuse me. The man was given good behavior credit for learning how to play the freaking ukulele or the guitar or whatever it was. Are you kidding me? That's what passes for rehabilitation?
What?
I'm not kidding. That's what was reported. The
So
man
it wasn't.
he got credit for learning how to play the guitar.
So it wasn't for job skills. It wasn't for
No.
learning to
Nope.
be like
Well, maybe.
functional.
Well, yeah, yes, but the fact that learning how to play the guitar was taken into account of reducing his sentence. Excuse me, but whatever person was involved in the decision making that was worthwhile permitting this person to walk back amongst us that ended up bringing this about, that person has something to account for. Whoever said, sure, I'm going to give him 1.5 years off his sentence because he learned how to play the guitar.
Well,
Whoever you are involved in this injustice. Your toxic empathy permitted this person to remove a child from a set of parents and his family's life. You did this.
Yep.
Make no
And
mistake of that. You did this.
it's one of those things that really does piss me the hell off. And it's why I
This
had to
happens
have
every day, Richard.
it's why I
This
had to have my
happens
shot
every day.
of whiskey. For those wondering, I had a choice between Tullamore Dew and Jameson. I went with the Jameson. Because this story I'm looking at the pictures of this little boy. His name is Logan. My nephew's name is Logan. The picture of this little guy looks so much like my stepson Jack. It's not even funny. And he's wearing a t-shirt in this picture I bought for my kids. And when I saw that, I needed the whiskey. I'm sorry. I needed I
Okay.
needed my
I'm
shot
gonna-
of whiskey.
I'm gonna hit you with something, Richard. Okay, somebody's asking us in the background if this is like some intro to a certain pop culture breakdown thing.
No,
Okay?
this
My
this
my
is
my
totally
res-
independent. This is
Yeah, no,
totally independent.
exactly. My response to that person is, okay, frankly, this conversation is probably more culturally relevant and important than anything they're going to talk about on Pop Culture Breakdown, because we know what they're going to talk about. They're going to talk about the hostile takeover of Warner Brothers initiated by the Ellison brothers because the board of Warner Brothers didn't put forth the offer of more money in front of the stockholders. That's
Which
one.
honestly, that right there is very
Conversation.
illegal. That goes against the law.
Exactly. That's the big conversation tonight. Okay? That's the big conversation tonight. Now that we've set that out of the way and we know what the conversation is about and we know why they're talking about it, can we have a conversation here about what's really affecting the rest of the country?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but this conversation is probably more culturally relevant than anything, and Overlord, forgive me, they're going to talk about tonight.
No, the other two
Said what I said.
other big stories I wanted to talk
I
about.
said what I said.
I'll
I'm
be
gonna
honest.
go cool on you.
I'll
Don't
be
make me
honest
do-
with you, Marcello.
Don't
I
don't
love
make me-
I love Doomcock to death, but this one conversation will probably be more culturally relevant than anything they talk about in 6 months.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm gonna go queel on you. I have spoken.
Well,
Yes.
I'm looking
Firmly
two
agree.
Two of the other serious stories that we had tonight is the Born Again Act getting passed and Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, I swear to God, I don't know which one's stupider, her or Jasmine Crockett, saying that a president has no right to fire experts that are working in the executive branch to provide advice and counsel to the executive branch.
Well,
Before we go on to another serious story, I want to talk about something lighthearted so that we're not quite as pissed off as we all are.
Oh yes, exactly.
University
I wanna
of Miami
do-
made the
My
football.
sister has
college
promised
playoffs.
she will be here for talking about the trashed panda. I love that little dude. He's cute. He's awesome. I love reading the
Yeah.
stories about him. So
I want to talk about
I am hoping though that his wife will give him the new keys to their front door so he can actually return home. Because after his bender, he sobered up and they released him. He went back to his house and found all his shit on the front yard, and the locks had been changed. So, thank God that there will be a family reunification end of the day. But yes, what's the good story you wanted to say?
All right. So, this is something that I had posted in our private server. The at the Golden Globes, the movie Wicked for Good.
Perfect ones.
The movie Wicked for Good was nominated for what is described as one of the quote worst, most condescending awards they have. That being the Cinematic and Box Office Achievement Award. From what I understand, the Cinematic and Box Office Achievement Award is the award that you nominate a movie for when you want a movie to be nominated, but it doesn't deserve to be nominated. And the people will get pissed off at you if you don't nominate it for something.
Yeah.
It's basically the please don't cancel us award.
The participation trophy.
Yep.
Yep.
Wicked for Good Wicked for Good was nominated for the Cinematic and Box Office Participation Awards.
Okay, I'm going to say something that is not controversial, but the chick that plays the Green Witch, she not only is fugly, she is scary.
Cynthia, okay. So I'm not gonna dig at her. Okay.
Dude,
I don't
she
know this.
scares
I
the
don't
heck
know
out of
this.
me. She gives me nightmares when I see her on the
No.
screen.
Here's the thing. I don't know for sure, but I have a suspicion that she has female alopecia, Richard, which is a malady where your hair does not grow the way
No, I
that it
know what it
would.
is. That was how I ended up making friends with Gunny on
I hey,
Eisenhower.
I understand that. I understand that.
But this woman,
Okay.
even if she had hair, she's scary looking. She looks like a
Well,
Nosferatu, man.
here's the thing. Okay. I try to apply a function where I listen to what you say, I listen to how you say it, I listen to the context in which you say it, and I arrive at some decision around the validity, usefulness, and value about what you're saying on the basis of that. Okay? Because quite frankly, you could be 4 feet tall, gray, and from the planet Mars,
Yeah.
which I might know, which I might know a little bit about. Okay, but the point is that I try to be as neutral and open to what you're trying to get across as I can. Of course, I am human and I have foibles and I can make mistakes. Okay. The issue that is at work here is that for whatever reason, this person has an inclination when they're in public to make whatever their what's the word I'm looking for, their uh their charges, because they're accusations, their charges against the rest of society be at the forefront of her persona. Okay. And further than that, that person acts as though they are due dispensation. I'm sorry if I used a word that people are not used to using. That's okay. There's Google for that. But they're acting as though they want dispensation. They want to pass. Okay? They want to pass on their behavior because of their presumed challenges that others may not have. They want permission to behave in a way that others may not behave because of the challenges that they are experiencing. Okay? Hey, I want permission to walk into a place and drive off with a sports car because I haven't made the money to be able to own a sports car. Sorry, that's not how that works. But this is how some of those folks in Hollywood today seem to want to behave. They want to be given blanket permission to do things, say things, behave a certain way because of some perceived slight.
Well,
Okay?
that's the whole point. Okay, this woman, I've heard her talk, and that's primarily why, to me, she's scary looking. is the stuff that has come out of this woman's mouth. It's not just the fact that she's got that look of a Nosferatu because that she has cultivated. I mean, she wears Nosferatu dagger nails on purpose. When she did the whole Jesus Christ Superstar in the park with what's his name, Alan Lambert or whatever the heck his name is, the guy that replaced Freddie Mercury with Queen.
Yeah.
That I watched parts of that, and I'm like going, wait, is she supposed to be Jesus?
Yeah.
And she's coming across more like she's the devil?
Look.
What the hell?
Look, here's the thing about artistry. Okay? The way that most of Hollywood approaches artistry is from a perspective of challenging norms. If there's a norm, we're going to question it. If there is a social mores, we're going to test it. We're always going to push the boundary of what you think, what you believe, and why you believe it. This is how they've always been. Hollywood was originally founded on the fact that the people who went west Hollywood were trying to get away from the folks on the East Coast who had somewhat, how shall we say, more restrictive laws on what could be put in front of an audience. There was a time where the East Coast was relatively really conservative, Richard.
Yeah.
And because of that, people who wanted to be able to express what they wanted to express, they go west, young man. And they did. They took it literally. What did they do? They went as far west as they could before falling off the continental shelf and settled in Southern California and started producing the things that they started producing, which would question the social mores of the East Coast, where things were most established. Okay? Most of our leftist thinking started off on the West Coast and moved its way east. Doubt me if you will. Look it up for yourself. Google will be your friend.
Well, I know Razor
a fun little thing. A fun little
Razor
thing.
Fist
This
did a really good expose about Hollywood and how it was infiltrated by the communists back in the day.
It's out there. It's out there, Richard.
It's
not a secret.
It was one of those things that everything he talked about, I already knew about. But having somebody like Razor Fist with a platform like he's got talk about it was really good. I was like, holy shit, this is awesome. But yeah, go for it, Wavo. You got the floor.
So I was reading the article about the Wicked for Good nomination. You want to know? You want a sample of just how pointless this award is? Other movies that were also nominated for the same award. Other movies that were also nominated for the same award were Beetlejuice, which was a halfway decent movie. Deadpool and Wolverine, also a decent movie. Twisters, and Avatar: Fire and Ash, which doesn't release until December 19th.
It's not even come out yet.
Yep. That is how pointless this award is.
Okay, give me a minute, guys.
And that also shows how much faith the letter has in that movie.
Yep. I have a feeling Richard's about to pour himself another glass.
Well, I'm going to.
Should I do the tell 'em or do this time?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay,
Yes.
give me a minute. I'll be
Yeah,
back.
you need to up your game a little bit, young man.
Somebody get me the spray bottles.
Yes. We
Hey,
are gonna we
Hey,
are gonna
hang
trade
on a
off.
second. I haven't
Richard,
gone that far off.
No, not for
I'm
you.
getting
This
my
is for
bottle.
Richard. Now, Richard told us that one glass would be all he would have, and if he had any more, we'd pull the spray bottle out for him.
And it's only
He
because we
does.
love you. It's only because we love your liver, Richard.
I
We
know.
want you to stick around, okay?
I know. I deserve it. Okay, go for it, guys. Here it is.
Bad,
Bad,
Richard. Bad, bad, Richard.
Oh, man.
Nah, seriously,
All right, hold on.
seriously though.
I'm gonna show it. Give me a second. I got to do this, but to be honest, let people see it.
Yep.
If you'll forgive me, I need to step away to use the restroom for a moment.
Here's the.
All right.
Here's what tell them we're
We'll
doing
be
shot.
here.
Here it is.
Yep. I got you. But out of all seriousness, though, when your movie is put on the same nomination list or is nominated for the same award as a movie that hasn't even freaking come out yet, that is how absolutely screwed over you are.
Yep.
At some point,
Especially
Richard-
when it's a movie that no one is talking about.
at some point, you know, I think that, you know, we need to invite some folks on here and hear them out, and ask some somewhat pointed questions. I have a list. Okay, they might not join us, and that's okay. But there are some folks that I want to hear what they think and why they think it.
Yeah.
I have a thought that maybe someday we can have folks like Valiant Renegade
Yeah. If we can make it big, yeah.
come join us. Okay. And maybe folks like Paul Chatto. Okay, if you don't listen to him, check him out. The guy's not bad. And even Paulie, I mean, I know Latino Slant has got his West Coast vibe, okay, but you know, I want to go East Coast on him and ask him, you know, hey, look, man, from an East Coast Latino perspective, you know, what the hell y'all thinking out there? Okay, no offense. Okay, you know, our parents, grandparents busted a nut to make it in this country. Okay, and there's some wackadoos that are messing it all up for the rest of us. And I have some questions, and I love the guy to death. I'm going to go on the record. Paulie's my hermanito. Okay? He has more hats than I do, but I'm trying to catch up. But we have to have some hard conversations, Richard. We have to have some hard conversations if we don't want to turn this continent, or at least this part of the continent, into not a third world country, into a has-been country.
Yeah, we don't want to end up like the UK right now. That's the part.
Richard, look, if we're not careful, Grubby, if you're listening, okay, we wish you the best of luck. But if we're not careful, we could turn into Australia.
Yeah.
Notice the silence after that. Okay.
Yeah.
Notice the silence after that.
There we go.
Seriously. Okay. That continent has turned into a nanny state.
Yeah. Well, let's hit our last story of the evening. My sister has arrived, so we can
Gee,
talk.
Dad, do we have to?
We are going to talk about my favorite story of the week. Trash.
This has been your favorite. It's been your favorite story of the last couple of weeks.
Yes, it
We
is.
hit on this. We hit on this last week too.
Yes. All right, Laura Jane. You are our veterinary animal expert. Now, we all know the story of how this little dude broke into a Virginia ABC store there in Hanover County.
No, my word.
He totally skipped all the cheap whiskeys and went straight to the top shelf whiskey.
Man is a legend.
This little dude,
He's gonna need a liver transplant.
he got
Liver
Super.
transplant, she says.
he got so trashed. This is how the cops found him. They had when they arrested him and turned him over to the animal shelter, who helped him sober the hell up. Everybody says, "Oh, this is awesome. He sobered up," and they let him go.
Yeah.
They don't talk
Right.
about the fact that not only did they release him to go home, he goes home to find all his shit on the front yard,
Dude,
and his wife changed all the locks on the house.
the man's life is forever changed.
Yes.
Now,
Okay? The
humorous.
man's life is forever changed.
This
Now,
little
humorous
dude-
as it is.
this
Humorous
little
as it
dude-
is. I had canon that he was passed out specifically by the toilet. I wonder if he hadn't spent the last probably 2 or 3 hours before passing out barfing in said toilet.
I'm disappointed by this picture because I thought that boy had standards.
Yes, he does.
Okay, I mean, if you're
But right
gonna
now, he's
go,
getting paid. He's getting paid to do this.
oh, okay, so it's like that, is it? Okay, he's going
Yes.
for the sponsorships.
Yeah,
He-
yeah, he's a
he-
sellout.
Tequila. Why is he holding tequila?
He's if you do the Trashed Panda merchandise stuff,
Look, man,
they are going all out. I mean, he's been hired by both the Hanover County Animal Control people
bad,
as well as the Virginia ABC board.
so sad,
Okay,
so sad,
he has become their
So sad.
spokesman.
so sad. Standards,
making
man,
money.
standards.
He is
You
making
know
what?
money right now. He's hitting while the iron is hot. Okay, so
Well,
yes,
you know,
he's
he
hockey
can't-
shit.
you can't blame him. He's making the best of his 15 minutes. You know, I mean, seriously, what's the lifespan of a raccoon after all?
Okay,
Marcello,
that's up to RJ. Tell us.
Depends. They can shoot if they don't come out right. Their mom will damn eat them, or their daddy will.
But how long
That's
do
if their
you
daddy's
live?
real. But they can live. They can live. Like in captivity, of course, they're going to live longer. But
Okay.
in the wild, without in the wild, granted, they don't get like killed by a car or eaten. Their lifespan is usually about 3 to 5 years.
Get the hell out of here! Are you serious?
35 years.
Those boys.
No, three.
Damn, how many
Oh,
is that in
okay.
human years?
I don't know. I might have hung up on you.
Oh my
So what,
God!
how long did they live in captivity?
35 years living the dream like that, going
No,
where they
not
want.
35.
they want.
3 years. Three
She said
years
35.
to 5 years.
She said.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
In the wild, granted, if they don't get, eaten by something, ran over by a car, whatever, blah blah blah, is it can live its life peacefully out in the world, terrorizing everybody's trash cans and robbing ABC stores, maybe 2 to 3 years. In
Oh,
captivity,
well,
they
that
can live.
changes everything. That changes everything. Okay.
Yeah, they don't. They
Okay?
don't live very long.
I mean, if it's going to be like that, go out in flames, man. Go out in flames.
Yeah, buddy.
Go.
Dump a garbage can on the
Yeah.
dump a
No,
garbage
no,
can
no.
on the ground for
Yeah,
the fallen.
If it's going to
Yes.
be like that, you got to go 1970s Ozzy Osbourne.
Yep.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Marcello, my friend, could I ask a favor of you? I've seen how good this raccoon's doing, and because I'm broke and everything, if I buy a raccoon,
If I'm ever anywhere near you, you are drinking like you are in Henry VIII's court.
well, no. What I want to
I
know,
don't
buddy,
let my friends drink bad.
what I want to know, buddy, is if I buy a raccoon costume, will you represent me?
Absolutely. You could do whatever you want. I'm bound by client privilege. I mean, attorney-client confidentiality to represent you for whatever, to the fullest of my extent. And I'll say it again. I don't know if he's listening, okay, but as I said all along, without DNA, he doesn't have to pay. Okay? Without DNA, he doesn't have to pay. I don't care how much the horse mama was claiming that Alf was the daddy. Without DNA, he doesn't have to pay.
Yep.
Okay, Marcello, let me ask you another thing. If I get a raccoon costume and go in on this, can you help me find an agent?
Oh, all right, Lord James.
What you do is what you do. I never heard any of that.
All right, Lord Jane. On the serious note, how often does stuff like this happen with raccoons and booze? You there? Uh-oh. I think Lord Jane dropped.
Did I scare her away? I'm sorry.
It's all right. All right, Lord Jane, you still there? Hello.
I hear her, but I don't know if she can hear us or not.
Lord Jane, can you hear us? All right, let me see if she sees it in the private chat. Because I seriously wanted to find out just what the alcohol can do to the raccoon. Because as funny as this is, I'm worried about his health. Not just his health of his liver, but his head when his wife comes at it with a frying pan. Because that's the one thing that they didn't talk about on the news. About what happened when he got home. But yes, guys, this is getting to end this story with our wonderful trashed panda is just too awesome. I mean,
What do I get the feeling he's going to be the channel's new mascot?
it's possible, man.
We could do worse. We
Yeah,
could do
yeah.
worse. Hey,
I
if
mean-
he'll work for cheap, we could rock this for months.
I mean, look at the little dude. Look at him. I mean,
I mean, seriously. I mean, well, we could swap the tequila for something else, but seriously, okay.
Y'all are too much.
I'm
Hey, we need to
serious.
replace it with a new public forum.
I will put on a raccoon suit. I really fucking will.
I don't doubt it. I could just picture a dead decomposing raccoon corpse with a flaming
With all
scythe.
due respect, Wavo. Okay, I'm gonna go full Blaze 2000 on you. If
Yeah,
you
go ahead.
find an
I
attorney,
still got more towels to wash, but if you're out of
There-
clothes, go ahead, wash your clothes.
there you go.
All right,
There
Mark
you
Jane,
go.
can you hear us
If
now?
you
Yeah.
find an attorney,
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right.
we can hear you
We have a
now.
question. We got a
We can
question
hear you
for
now.
when it comes to the health of the raccoon, and how
Yeah, we can
often
hear you.
do raccoons drink this much?
We can hear her now. Okay.
Well, they really help. My husky probably drinks more than a raccoon will. But like I said, if there's like alcohol in the
Damn.
trash, because they are trash pandas, they'll drink it. They'll eat or drink about anything.
Yeah.
But I'm
Interesting.
surprised that poor thing didn't, die of like alcohol poisoning or like liver failure, kidney failure, a
Yeah,
hell of a fucking hangover.
Oh, he had a hangover.
Hangover, she says.
Oh, they
hangover,
said
he
that he
said.
had a really nasty hangover when he left. But
I
other than that,
don't know what.
that's
I've never
what
had a
he said.
hangover. I drink vodka like it's water. Okay,
What's vodka?
vodka.
But
No,
yeah,
no. Richard, if I ever make it to Charlotte, I'm gonna bring some of my hooch. Okay. You,
all right.
please. Okay. I no. We'll have to have this conversation offline. All I know, if this raccoon survives, we should put him on the payroll, use him as a mascot, okay? Because if you can find an attorney who doesn't spin this in a situation to make money, Wavo, you're talking to a dead attorney.
Yeah.
The only attorney who does not know how to turn a bad situation into a money-making situation is a dead attorney.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay?
That's why I want you on my team, Marcello. If I'm going to do this, I want to make cash.
We're going to do this the right way.
All you got to
We're gonna
do
do this the
brother,
right
brother,
way.
is say, this is how I identify, man, and they can't say jack.
Okay? Let's
All right.
just put it this way. A good attorney will convince a insurance company to give you a replacement liver for free. I said what I said.
Oh man.
Sounds like you need O.J. Simpson's lawyer.
The man was
Which-
a legend. I don't know
Which
what
one?
your name is. I'm so sorry, but the man was a legend.
Are you talking about the guy from South Park? The
Johnny
Chewbacca
Cochran?
defense?
Look,
Yes.
Yeah.
Whoever O.J. Simpson's
Chewbacca
lawyer
lives on
was.
Endor.
Johnny Cochran. Johnny Cochran is probably going to be talked about for 100 years to come. Okay,
If the glove don't fit, you must quit.
Look, okay, OJ, he was guilty as the day is long, no question of it. But what Johnny Cochran did was absolute legend. Absolute legend.
Because it didn't fit.
Yeah.
If there's
They
no
had to
DNA,
quit.
he doesn't have to pay.
Jeez.
There you go.
Well, it's time now to that point in the show where we start hawking our shit. Let's go ahead and start off with the son of Mars, Marcello. It's there you go.
You want me to go first?
The floor, brother.
It's very simple. Okay, be afraid. Be very afraid. When I start my channel full force, I'm not holding back. Everybody is fair game, people. Why? Because when I'm done, you will want to push the button.
I like pushing buttons.
Yeah.
She's good, Richard. We need to bring her back.
Oh, we will.
Oh, I'm good. I'm
We need to bring
I'm
her
really
back.
good at
Yeah, we
I'm
need
really
to
good
bring
at
her back, man.
This is my
Yes,
sister.
And I
she's
like
fun.
stirring. I like
She's
stirring the
fun.
pot.
Good.
I like
good.
smoking pot.
Good.
Hey. You guys can hang on with the green shit. Just somebody bring me a good cigar, okay?
I'll tell you what, Marcello, we'll bring a
I'll
good
bring you a
cigar with
blunt.
green cheese. Yeah.
No. I'm good.
All right.
I'm good.
Marcello, I'll bring a Cohiba with.
All right, now you're speaking
Casey.
foreign language. I don't understand. I only
Casey.
speak redneck. Okay, can you
It's
not hear
okay,
me?
Don't
All right.
don't
We're
look.
up to
Don't
Casey
you
now
worry.
for Hockey
Don't
Gets
you
In.
worry. We're good with that. Casey, ask me if. Okay, I have a Cohiba 5 feet away from me right now.
Is that like a type of tequila or something?
No, it's a type of cigar.
Yeah, a really good Spanish cigar.
I have one 5 feet away from me. I mean, seriously, I have
You can
standards.
put something in it, make it better.
I like the way
I'm
you
gonna
think,
stop
Laura.
right
I
now
like
because
the
I could get in trouble, Richard. I
Okay,
could get in real trouble with this.
okay, I am just going to say very quickly before we get back to the good conversation with Laura over here. I thank you, Richard, and everyone else for allowing me once again to grace this fine and noble panel. And I hope that if you are in a mind to see some of the best short story horror fiction on YouTube, of course, that is my opinion only. I would love it if you would come visit me down at Casey's Creepy Creations, and I'll scare you up a story like you wouldn't believe.
All right. Now it is Huevo's time to hawk his shit.
Oh, I've got a lot planned. I've got a couple more demo reviews that I'm working on, as well as I'm trying to get something ready for Christmas, as well as the Christmas episode of Storming Camelot, which we've yet to record.
Mm-hmm.
The date of recording is set. Just waiting for that date to come. The problem with the game I'm trying to review is that it's incredibly boring. It's not a bad game. It's just boring as all hell.
Yeah.
And it's hard to keep my interest when you have a game like this.
Yep.
Look at your butt. You're on camera.
I will say, spoiler warning, it is based on a certain Jim Carrey Christmas movie.
The Grinch.
Here we go.
Puppy!
Is showing off.
Yeah, that's Fresca.
Hey,
Yeah, no shame.
Oh my God, he's adorable.
That is
Oh my
that is
God,
the
he's
most
adorable.
beautiful dog I have ever seen.
Oh my God.
I can't say more because my dog will get jealous, and then I'm gonna have to go on mute. Hello there.
Okay, Marcello, I'll tell
How
you what.
you doing, boy?
I don't
Hey.
have a. I
The
don't have.
girl.
I don't
Oh,
have.
I'm
a dog,
sorry.
so I'll
I'm
say-
sorry, honey. How you doing, baby?
I don't have a dog, so I will say it for you if that's okay,
I-
Marcello.
I at this point, I have completely tuned out now that the dog is online. I don't know what the hell you all are talking about.
She
but the
goes, look,
dog-
Fresca goes everywhere with me.
Oh my God. Oh,
She's a wolf dog.
She's
Oh.
beautiful.
Thank
She
you.
absolutely is. That is the
she's-
most beautiful
that's
dog
my
I have
weakness
ever
right there.
seen.
Now,
that's my weakness right there.
when you
Um,
say she's a wolf dog, what
Mhm.
does
Oh
that
my
mean?
God.
She like part timber wolf?
All right, she's
Yeah.
she's got timber wolf, gray wolf, and red wolf in her. All that equals like the 86% wolf, and then she's got
Oh,
10%,
cool.
86% wolf. I think like 10% husky, and I think like 4% other, which can be anything from a coyote to a dingo, an African wild dog. They
I'd
don't know
never
what the
put her
other part
down.
is.
I'd carry her around like the princess
Absolutely.
she is. I would
Well,
never
she
put her
is a
down.
mini one. That's the
Oh
problem.
my God!
You know how most wolf dogs are about the size of a small pony.
Yeah, Fresca's very small.
She's
No,
barely
that's
big.
it. That's it.
She's
That's
only
it.
100. She's barely 100 pounds.
Oh,
I-
forget
I-
it. She would go with me everywhere. I would.
I'll tell
That's
you what,
it.
I
That's it.
would build a sidecar on my wheelchair for that dog.
She would be.
There you go, man. There you go. Absolutely.
She would be.
Woo. Never go.
She would
Hey,
be my emotional. She would be my emotional support animal, and I would take her to work. And if my boss told me to take her home, I'd say, "Screw you, I'm going home."
Oh my God.
Hold
This
on.
is my other one.
You guys don't understand. My Maltese right now is giving me the side eye because I'm giving this dog attention.
Oh,
Okay.
that's
This is
Gunner.
Gunner.
She's at my feet right now, asking me. I'm afraid to look at her because she's like, "Why are you looking at another dog? Why are you looking at another dog?"
Yeah, Gunner. He's a little lazy. He's a overweight, fat
How you
husky.
doing, boy?
Yeah.
Hey,
How you
he's
doing,
got
boy?
one blue eye. He's laying
Oh.
on his blue eye.
Oh, hello,
Oh,
Gunner.
wait. She's
Hello.
trying to climb up.
Say
She's
hi.
trying to climb up.
Ah, hi,
Uh-uh.
Gunner.
Yep.
Okay.
This is
I better
is
shut
what
up
whenever
before I
Duke
get
Fox
myself
got
in
his
trouble
show
with this
going.
dog here.
You see
I'm
Gunner
curious,
pop up,
man.
and I'm like, "How the heck did you get your mama's phone?" That's where that comes from. That's where that comes from.
Wow.
So yes, everybody, since it's time to wrap up our show, we've hit.
Gee,
the 2
Dad,
hours.
do we have to go home now?
Come
Yeah.
on, Dad.
Y'all gotta see Frostbite. Hold on, here's Frostbite.
Okay,
He's
hold
not
on.
the-
This is the psycho. The
Oh,
rabbit
come
I
here,
told you
little-
guys about.
Whoa.
What?
Frostbite, turn around. There you go. Look.
Aw. Hello,
Okay.
buddy. Hello, baby.
Were you able to get the switchblade away from the rabbit?
What? Your pardon?
Yes, this is the rabbit that I told you guys about that stole my
Switch-
nephew's switchblade.
Wait a minute. Did I hear you right? Switchblade?
Yeah.
Yes.
What does a rabbit
in
do
a-
with a switchblade?
He
And then
wants to.
here's-
He
No, that's a
Psycho,
rhetorical
man.
question.
he
Anything
wants
you
to
want.
skin humans. That's what he wants.
You exactly. I asked a rhetorical question. What does a rabbit do with a switchblade? Anything he wants.
Yep.
And that is a squirrel.
Yeah,
Yes, that's Zelda.
He's doing that love thing.
she fell out of a tree. Her nest got attacked. One of her siblings died on impact, and the other one got ate by my husky.
Oh,
Careful when you say the S word. This one does not like that particular type of rodent and is
Free rat.
known to be okay. This one almost caught one. She's that much of a hunter. She
A
almost
mul-
Oh,
caught
wow.
one. Okay.
A
and
Maltese actually got one of those.
yes, I'm not
Fresca-
kidding you. She is
Fresca caught. She's caught a squirrel, or she's caught quite a few squirrels, like wild squirrels outside. She's caught some rabbits, and she's proud of them too. She'll bring them back to me too. What, baby?
Is there a chance for chocolate?
Don't know. Unless Daddy gives me some money.
Okay.
Sorry, chocolate.
All right, folks. We are being summoned to the center of the earth.
Yep. It's time for the Doomcock pop culture
Oh,
breakdown. Everybody,
Okay.
as I say many times as we end this, let us all strive to be the positive change we want to see in this world. Let us share the things that we love with others, because this world needs a whole lot of more love in it. It's by sharing the things we love with others that we show our humanity. It's how we show the world we're not going quietly into the night. We show the reason why we defend the pop culture so strongly, because this is stuff that we love. This is stuff that has touched each and every one of our hearts.
Mm-hmm.
This is something that it exists in our hearts and our minds and our souls. So let us all go out there and be the positive change we want in this world.
I'll be positive, I'll be sweet, and I'll be kind, but let a motherfucker not do that right back to me. They're going to get it. They're going to get this mouth.
Richard, I like your sister. She's my kind of people.
Yep. Now you see where I get my language from is, and my use of profanity so easily.
Profanity, he says. Please.
Hey, it's adjectives for us. It's adjectives. Now, everybody remember, you're not alone. And you are most definitely loved, because I know I love each and every one of you.
Thank you.
Y'all
Same
be
right
good.
back at you.
You got it, buddy.
Same
All
right
You
right.
have
back
to
at
love me because I'm your sister.
I know, but I've also got this found
you. There you
family.
go. There you go.
I have many more brothers and sisters that have.
We spoke not too soon, boys.
Yep. Y'all be good. I love you. And remember, be good to each other.
Absolutely.